all of August, I was hoarse. I couldn't sing. So leading up to the show, I couldn't practice. I couldn't do anything. And then the anxiety would build up even more and would become a vicious cycle. We didn't even sing. I was just crying the whole time.
Needed to happen.
It was so cathartic. You know, after crying for a whole hour, somehow oddly felt a little bit of a release. Like mentally, I kind of let it out.
You could sum up the last 5 years in a single word.
Evolution. It's just a whole 5 years worth of just evolving and finding a new self, reclaiming some parts of my old identity that I've struggled to keep as I go through motherhood and transitions in life. You just have to say like, hey, I'm not okay. I need help, and people are there for you.
She's a trilingual singer-songwriter and former major label artist who stepped away from the commercial scene to rewrite her story. After years as a member of a chart-topping duo, she walked away to go solo, embraced motherhood, became a sleep coach, faced the challenges of being an independent artist, lost her voice, and found it again. Today, Robynn Yip shares what it's like to evolve into her most authentic self. In this conversation, she opens up about losing her voice to anxiety, the mindset shifts that have helped her recover, why authenticity beats perfection, and how she created the space to make her most personal music yet. If you've ever felt the pull to live life on your own terms, this episode is for you. Robynn.
Hi.
It's been 5 years since our last conversation. Can you believe that? Our last interview conversation.
It's been 5 years.
5 years since the last time we did an interview.
Wow.
A lot's changed. If you could sum up the last 5 years in a single word, what word would that be and why?
Evolution.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just a whole 5 years worth of just evolving and finding a new self, and also kind of growing into a new identity, but also reclaiming some parts of my old identity that I've, struggled to keep as I go through kind of motherhood and transitions in life. That, I think it's a funny time that we're chatting now, because I just released my first kind of solo album. So it's like a very full circle moment to kind of remind myself of, motherhood is so important to me and such a big part of my life, but music is also. So, yeah, it's a good time to chat.
This 5 years, you had 2 kids.
Yep.
And you stepped away from the duo, Robynn and Kendi.
Yeah.
And you moved into solo as a solo artist.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard you say just now that you felt like you were reclaiming parts of yourself. So could you explain what parts of those do you feel like were lost and which are now being reclaimed now as we're experiencing Robynn of today?
I think there was definitely a phase in my journey where I felt really kind of unsure of how I can go forward with my music, because of just how priorities shift and how, I used to be in a duo and I used to have this identity of who I am as an artist. And then me having to simultaneously find who I am as a solo artist alongside, who I am as a mother. I think somewhere along the way, I just kind of lost, who I am as an artist. And so it was kind of a continuous process of trying to find that and trying to take comfort in the fact that, I don't have to really figure it out then and there. I can take my time. I can slowly kind of find my footing. Yeah, and evolve. Yeah.
You mentioned that you just released a new album, Phases of the Moon.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you've described this as a very personal album. Mm-hmm. What does it mean for you to finally share these songs with the world?
I think for me personally, to be able to have an album to house all of these songs that are all so personal and so close to the heart, it's very cathartic. It's very, it's so different from how I used to make music, because, I used to be in a major label with Universal, in a duo. So a lot of times when I have a personal story that I want to share creatively, it's not actually so easy or straightforward. And so I felt kind of this freedom, back in 2020 when I, first became indie, to be able to, I can just write about, super personal stuff, super, you know, diary entries almost of songs and just sentiments where I can just really be the most straightforward and simple version of me. And so I think to be able to allow myself to be so vulnerable and open in my songs, it really took a lot of courage, but it also feels really good.
So when you were working with Universal, there were times then I would guess that you would want to share something and they would say no. Was there a reason why? Did they say no, people can't deal with anything that's too vulnerable? The audience is not ready for that. Why that constraint?
Well, I think it was mainly my own internal dialogue with myself because a lot of the times the A&R, which is the person that kind of dictates or kind of steers the songs in a certain
artist and repertoire.
Artist and repertoire. He would be the role where he decides, okay, this year the plan is this. There's so many songs that's going to come out, and then we're going to pick based on, either your demos or your collaborations with different people to come up with these songs. And this is the direction of the year. So it doesn't really, because of that structure, it just doesn't have as much wiggle room. And also internally, I'm thinking, oh, but this is like a duo project. So a lot of family stuff that's so personal, it kind of, for me, I almost feel like, oh, but this is so strange to have Robyn and Kendi sing it. We have had some songs where, we sang something that is more based on like kind of personal stuff. There was a song called 생춘 종로. It was like right around the time when I got engaged. And then it was like a love song. But nothing so real and so like this is like so storytelling in that sense. So I guess the conditions are different.
So I guess there's more external parameters that makes it harder for you to think about writing a song that is just purely about your story.
Yeah.
There's other things that you're considering. Yeah. And so now with that lifted, these past 5 years, you said that it was very vulnerable, a little scary too, but very also scary. A cathartic release.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, why 5 years? Why did now feel like the right time for this album to come out?
Oh, it just so happened.
Okay.
It just so happened. I don't even know. Like, I never really had a clear timeline of, how it's going to be. But I also think it's like meant to be in a way because
serendipitous almost.
Yeah. And I have a song in the album called 5th of May. And
it's my husband's birthday.
Oh, really? Yes. Oh, it's my mom's birthday.
Yeah, I know from the lyrics.
Yeah. So it's so funny that 5 years and I've come to this point where I can release the album. I feel like it's so serendipitous, exactly as you said. Five. Yeah.
Okay, but that wasn't planned.
It wasn't really. It was just like the kids are slightly old enough for me to be a little. Just turning 5. Okay. Like slightly old enough so that I can be a little bit more hands off, and I can they're in school and. It's a little bit easier for me to handle everything.
Yeah. I guess sometimes the journey, we don't necessarily know when things will pan out.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just presents itself at exactly the right moment and things start to line up. Is there any one particular song on this album that pushed you the most as a songwriter, as a singer, or even just personally in terms of your story? Which one would that be?
Pushed myself the most.
Maybe it's the scariest. Was it scariest to release or hardest to write or most challenging to sing? What would come up for you?
The most challenging. That's a tricky question. I think probably 시오한색, the Small Scars. I think that one was quite challenging for me. It's actually my newest kind of plug that is on the album, Newest Song. It's so funny because I remember when I wrote it, I had intended for it to be sold to somebody else. So I was going to write it as a songwriter. And then the lyrics came up, and I was just imagining that my girls are all grown up, going through their first heartbreak, going through the experience of falling in love. And then I just got so emo. And then I started writing these lyrics of like, don't forget about yourself and loving yourself, even when you do, experience heartbreak and, falling in love. And then I'm just imagining all these things. And then that was the moment when I decided, oh my gosh, I need to keep the song. And it's so funny because Randy Chow, who's my producer of the song, he's a dad himself. He's actually not a girl dad, he's a boy dad. But there were on multiple occasions he teared up himself recording me. He's like, okay, I can't look at your lyrics. Just go. I cannot look at your lyrics. It's bringing tears to my. So to me, I think emotionally that was also tricky for me to kind of work around, but also, the key of it and the range of it was also something that I needed time to kind of figure out. And sometimes I'm like, why am I writing something so hard for myself to sing? But but that's also why I'm so grateful for you.
Oh, thank you.
And that, you've coached me through so many of my mental, vocally and mentally. Just, I'm so thankful. So.
Oh, thank you for saying that. Love that you can express yourself so authentically in all of these different languages. And I'm just wondering for you, when you're writing a song, do you decide in advance what language it's going to be? Or do you feel like it speaks to you? It tells you? Like, why did you decide like Siu Hensik was going to be in that language?
It's like, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it almost, for me, the songwriting process almost comes like melody and lyrics together. That's when I have a strong feeling that like somewhere in the universe, like something is calling me and pulling me to write something. Like if it's purely melody to start with,
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's real. It's only real when
It's not real.
yeah, like the melody is not real yet. Like you can change it however way, but when it comes with lyrics, no matter what language, then it becomes real for me.
It's
And
like
then
the story is being told.
yeah,
right?
like a story is being told. And so what I realize is when I have words that come to me in English, it flows differently. The melody just flows a little differently. And then when I get, Chinese in my head somehow randomly, it flows another way. Yeah, it's
like you're channeling the creativity, the creative energy.
Yeah, it sounds so meta, but that's how.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's your lived experience of this.
yeah, and I think that with my previous experience as a signed artist, what oftentimes happened was that I would think of something in English, and then I would generate this melody based off of these lyrics that I'm thinking. For example, Tochiwawa was one of them.
Which is porcelain doll.
Porcelain doll.
Yeah.
But it's really funny because, being, a canto pop artist, the label would have to like strip my English lyrics away and then have a canto lyricist to fill it in the canto version, and that would be the main version.
Right.
And then when I cover it, elsewhere, it would be like the English original demo version is actually the cover version. And I do feel like it takes away a little bit of the hook sometimes, but other times it can also kind of elevate it and give it a different side. So it's a very funny thing. So when I'm doing my completely indie solo project, I feel like I have kind of a full control over, the decision making of, whether or not this is going to be in English or Cantonese or Mandarin.
Yeah.
And then kind of just do it that way.
Do you feel that there's certain in Mandarin, Cantonese, or English that you express or you emote differently in those songs? Do you think that it's because of the nature of the language that will allow you to sing in a certain way, which then comes out in a certain kind of story, for example?
Yeah.
Do you feel like that it could be a combination of that the nature of the language itself kind of helps to dictate how you're going to emote it? Or do you feel like you express yourself similarly through all three languages?
It brings out a different side of me, I think. Slightly. But I also feel like it's not something for me to kind of articulate. It's something for my listeners to really feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really have words for why it's different or how it's different. But I also think that music is so magical in that it's kind of like a connector between people. So when somebody listens to my songs in whatever language that they feel is the most connected, then that's amazing for me. And
That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. Sometimes I can connect with songs that I have no understanding of what the language is, right? Italian songs or even sometimes some Korean ballads.
Yeah.
And I'm like tearing up. I have no idea what's
What they're
happening.
saying, yeah.
But, you can connect on that level.
Yeah.
So speaking of your listeners, do you feel that your relationship with your audience has changed or evolved as well over these past 5 years?
I think that what I'm really grateful for are fans who have been they just stuck with me for so many years. And I may not be kind of one with the most followers or the most momentum, but my fans are so loyal and they're so good to me and they're so supportive. And, we were just talking about how I recently had my album launch and so many people were, so emotional watching my performance. And for me, it really is why I continue. It's for these people that still support me. And obviously, you, as a musician, you always want to kind of grow the pie and all that. But then, just to look at these people right now, at this moment in time, and just feel so grateful and thankful that these people that would otherwise be strangers, they're so supportive and they love you and they are so inspired by kind of the stories and just all of it. So I'm super grateful for the fans.
I was there and I could feel that moment, and also I could hear them. I feel like also I remember hearing some of your fans. They would know. It's like they know you. Like they'll say certain things and almost like call back to certain personal things that's related to you that they just know about you. Which is something that you can't capture anywhere else except in that moment, in that live moment. And I could feel that as well. It really was an amazing. It was awesome to see because you and I worked together in the lead up to this. And then to see that all come together in that shared moment is really, really special.
Thank you.
You are a mom of two.
Yes.
And your kids were there.
Yes.
They were sitting right in front of me. I was watching them. Has becoming a parent changed the stories you want to tell through your music?
Oh, for sure. I think everything is inspired by them, especially this album. I think majority of the songs in this album was about this change in my life. And I think that it would be I would not be true to myself if I were to write something for the sake of the masses, but not kind of pull from what I always think about 24/7, which are my kids.
When you're mom.
Yeah.
Right?
But I also feel like now, I have a little bit more headspace to think about more things just because I'm able to kind of capture all those super personal, super, family, love, motherhood, evolution, all of those themes into this album. And I feel like once I, completed this album launch and released this collection of music, I feel like, symbolically somehow, there's a switch in my brain where I'm like, okay, what is the next era? What can I talk about next? What inspires me more? And I don't know, I hope that one day, they could grow up and look at their mama and be like, and inspire them that when they become, mothers, or when they grow up and they go through different phases of life, that they can still do what they love.
You mentioned just now that you almost have this channeling where energy, creative energy just comes through you. Do you ever feel creatively stuck?
Oh, always, always. But you know what though? It's so funny because I feel like in the West, there's a lot of really, really talented people that always write together.
Okay.
And in Hong Kong, where we are, the culture is very much surrounded by, you're a one-man band, like melody is yours, lyrics is yours, arrangement and production is yours.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
Okay, something to change in the industry.
Well,
right?
I think it's a great thing to uplift people who are really, really, really talented. But I also feel like for me, when I feel creatively stuck, the best thing to do is to write with other people and just get some fresh stuff flowing, and to just surprise yourself with the kinds of things that you can write. Because when I'm thinking of writing for myself and writing by myself, I'm in a particular, I'm in my own little bubble. But if I'm thinking, this song is going to be for so-and-so, and then I can write with this person who's really good at, making the beat, and I can top line, and I can, reference different kind of genres, and then come up with something completely different from what I would write for myself. And I think that that's very liberating. Yeah.
It makes me think of Betty Blanco and how he tells his story behind the scenes of collaborating with other people.
Yeah.
And how it just brings a completely different energy. And there's lots of stories that he tells about the circumstances behind writing some songs that have become hugely popular around the world. Yeah. I'm curious, in that process, what does that look like for you? So say you're creatively stuck, or you're in a mindset of, I want to write a song for somebody else. And you start maybe bringing somebody in, you bring them in. Is it in person? Do you just have a guitar? Do you say, okay, what does that process look like of collaborating for you?
So usually, what I really enjoy is completing a demo in a day, songwriting camp style. So 3.
What does that look? What is
3?
It's you have a clock.
So no. So you go in, and then it's I don't know, 10 a.m. And then you have maybe somebody who's a tracker on the group. So a beat maker on the group, and then maybe instrumentalist that's particularly good at a certain instrument, and then maybe 1 or 2 top liners. And then
what is top liners? Just for
so
people
the melody person.
Okay.
So the one that is kind of the ones that are coming up with the melodies.
With the main melody
The
line.
main melodies. And then you just kind of crank it out really quickly within the day, and then maybe 7, 8 p.m., maybe there are several groups going on in the same studio for different pitches. And then at the end, you kind of come together and listen to each other's stuff. There's a listening party at the end. And it's super fun.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's
Do you ever film the whole thing and share that? That's fascinating. In my head, you're just you and somebody else. And just
there's actually
humming.
There's actually a Netflix show that talks about
exactly this.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called Hitmakers.
I see.
I really enjoyed it because I was this is what
you do.
What we do. And it's so nice because you bond through that experience with everybody there. And then, and then it's full of just mutual admiration for what everybody there can do. I remember, one of the songs that I put in my album, New Me.
Yeah.
That was created through one of those
one.
Yeah. And
so that was a big group of you in different rooms.
It was 4, but for that group, for New Me, that was 4 of us. I was I don't know, I was about to pop. I was so big. And it was 11 p.m. We're still working on some of the stuff. And then the producer was like, Robynn, go home. you gotta rest. You're very pregnant. You gotta
In
rest.
case you forgot.
And I'm like, just let's just finish this. Let's just finish this.
Got this.
Yeah, and it's so fun. It's so fun. And then it's like those moments where you feel like you know, in that setting, you're just naturally more inspired, and you're naturally like I'm just naturally less stuck. So it's like super fun to just work with,
Just pull the people together and have a party, and then just create a song in a day. Basically, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So in the lead up to this album launch, Phases of the Moon, I know that there were a few unexpected things that had happened.
Yes.
Right? There were some ups and downs.
Yes.
People were getting sick,
Yeah.
printing issues, other things, things here and there. But I know you're still pretty in the aftermath, pretty soon in the aftermath of this show, and you're still in the process of sending the vinyls out, et cetera. But I'm just curious, if you just look back now in the whole run up and the preparation of this, and this whole process of leading up to this launch, what's a lesson or insight you can say that you've taken away from this experience that, I learned this. This had to happen this way for me to learn it?
I think what I have learned is just the power of like the people around you that can help you, and the power of, just, I don't know, like just the good people in your life that are willing to help you. You just have to ask for it. You just have to say like, hey, I'm not okay. I need help. And people are there for you. And that gets me emotional because I'm very grateful. Yeah.
It's that shared community, right? And that aspect of when you're sharing a moment together and you're being real with each other, it almost opens your energy up, and then you nurture each other in that process.
Yeah,
it is a beautiful process.
For sure.
In our work together, we've talked a lot about the connection between our external voice and our internal voice. Like our thoughts, our self-talk, you mentioned that a little bit earlier too, our stories and our beliefs. I do think that this is related to that aspect of reaching out and actually asking for help. We're just stuck in our own heads, and we forget that there are people around us, right? But when we're in that moment of being stuck in our own heads and, getting bogged down by these thoughts, can you share your experience with what that connection has been with your external voice?
What I've come to realize in this journey is that, definitely kind of the mental anxiety really takes a toll on the voice. Like it really, and even when it's brought to awareness, right? It's not just like it just heals the voice immediately. Like that something is wrong, and that, it's because you're so kind of mentally struggling that it comes out physically in the voice.
How did that manifest for you?
Sorry?
How did that manifest for you?
So my show is like mid-September. All of August, I was hoarse. I couldn't sing. So leading up to the show, I couldn't practice. I couldn't do anything, and it was so frustrating, and and then the anxiety would build up even more and would become a vicious cycle. So I went to see an ENT to make sure nothing was wrong, and then I did acupuncture like every single day. I've cut everything that I love, like spicy foods, coffee. Like everything, and then I tried to make sure that my kids were not sick when they start school
Stay
again.
away from me.
Yeah, but you can't really
I know you can't really
stay away. So, I was juggling a lot of stuff. And so I really needed help, and I really needed time to just focus on myself and my health. But, in the end of the day, I feel like, again, like I said, I'm really grateful for just you and my family for being so supportive, and everybody that's just been trying to help me in any way possible. And I think that especially with the voice, you know, I am so grateful for just every single time that we had sessions together. You know, some sessions we didn't even sing. I was just crying the whole time. But it was so, every single time
Needed to happen.
It was so cathartic. You know, actually, I would feel this like tension in my throat that's like just kind of holding me. And then after one of our sessions, after crying for a whole hour, it somehow oddly felt a little bit of a release. Like mentally, I've kind of let it out to somebody that I felt like could understand. I think that's so important to have your people to just, you know, so you can just air out everything that's just been sitting heavily on your heart.
Yeah.
So you can just kind of.
This is something I feel that isn't really talked about enough, especially when it comes to people who are in the creative arts, who are performing, who are out there, putting themselves literally out there every single day.
Yeah.
And I think that mental anxiety, this is something that I feel like I've been blessed with the opportunity to be able to walk this path with so many artists. And this is so common. And I think, you know, thank you for being willing to go here and share that, because I think it's really important for artists to understand that, or anybody who, we're talking about artists, but it really is anybody who wants to put themselves out there.
Yeah.
Anybody who wants to step outside their comfort zone. Yeah. There is all of this self-talk that can impact how we show up. And with something specific like singing or even acting, and if you have this mental self-talk and it's affecting your instrument, it's affecting the way that you can express yourself. If you don't have that understanding that, oh, this is not a technical issue, this is actually something that I need to process, then what's going to happen is you go through all the external help, right? Yeah. Thinking that, and it's not helping, and you think there must be something wrong with me. Yeah. Right. And it's so important to have the people around you, and to, like you said, ask for help if that is happening, because it is very, very common. Do you have a mantra or a mindset shift that has helped you move through these challenging times? It's really funny. I'm going to have to share this because on the show. So you and I we had a hope you're okay with sharing this. We were in one of our sessions. I shared a story with you about somebody else who has this specific mantra, and her mantra was, "I'm always right." Mm-hmm. And then we giggled about it. Yeah. And then on the show, what happened? Well, I love that moment. Okay, so tell the audience what was going on, because you had a specific loop going on. I remember.
Yeah. So I was on my loop station, and I was trying to loop stack a loop to sing the song.
So just so that people know what we're talking about here, it's literally a box, right? Where you press. There's a lot of buttons on this box. Right?
There's a device
just for non-musicians out there, right? Yeah. And then you basically create a loop.
I record my guitar. Yeah. And then it plays over and over again on repeat, and then I can stack more things to record on top of it, and then I'd sing on top of it, and then it didn't loop exactly right, and then so I was like, this is not good enough. I'm going to stop it, and then I just kind of shouted out. I was like, I am always right. And then, so everybody laughed and then gave me another chance. Mm-hmm. And so that was a moment where, I look back and I think, you know, it's really funny, because actually fans, what they look for in an artist is not necessarily perfection. No. It's realness and being able to connect and being able to, you know, laugh at yourself and laugh at your own mistakes, so that, you know, it inspires them to not take everything so seriously. So I think that it was a very good moment for me to have, because I am one to take myself way too seriously sometimes. So, you know, to have that moment and be like, I am always right.
I've got this.
Yes. Yeah. So that was
I'm making mistakes and it's okay.
Yeah.
No, I love that moment. And I think what you're speaking to here is authenticity, right? Yeah. And that's what ultimately at the end of the day what we truly resonate with, and it's really our own mental junk that gets in the way of it has to be like this, I have to perform it this way. But I'm curious, because you have that experience of being a signed artist and now you're independent, do you think it's actually is 100% to be authentic as a signed artist?
Is it
Do you feel like it's possible to be 100% authentic
as a signed artist?
A signed artist? Do you think that that's possible in this day and age?
Well, I mean, that's a really nuanced question because I think that as an artist by definition, you've got to have your own kind of unique character that defines you as the artist. But you are also a whole 360 human being, and the definition of an artist is that you're taking one element of your personality and kind of zooming in on it and taking it to a kind of extreme level, if you will, or just like, really honing in on the specific thing that makes you an artist. So I think that in a way, yes, like as an indie artist, you can be more, authentic with it. But I think as a signed artist, I was also not genuine. I was also like kind of a little goofy, a little absent-minded, and like fans laugh at me for being kind of the way I am, and then a little bit dorky and a little bit, I was still that. And I think that fans that have been with me across these two eras, they know me and they know that about me.
Yeah.
But the other thing, I guess, is that now I'm even more so kind of openly sharing, what I'm going through and who I am. I also had this complex where, I worried about whether I was too boring.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I remember like many, many, many years ago, there was like this, we're doing like press, and this reporter was
This is when you were with Robynn and
Yeah, when I was in a duo. And then everything we talked about was music. And then the reporter's like, trying to dig out who you're dating or like what you, and then she just looked like, oh, we're just the most like unentertaining, boring people that she's talking to, and then I guess that was the seed. It's like, am I just a little boring? Oh. Like, I'm not a Lady Gaga. I'm just, So I think there was a little bit of that. And then now that I am doing like such personal music, and most of which are very, mellow, that kind of, that voice crept back in a little bit. But then I had to consciously be like, no, I'm going to write this song and record this song and release the song anyway. Like,
what was that voice telling you? You're being boring, or what was that voice telling you?
The voice was like, people are listening to whatever these days.
Ah, I see.
People want TikTok songs these days.
Or they want it like this.
Or
right?
yeah. Like, that's not gonna. And then I'm like, no, because this is my one chance to be like completely, like, I'm not a part of a label. There's no,
So it's interesting.
rule.
Still, some of that constraints are coming back in. I guess I get old habits, perhaps.
Well, I think they always stick with you. But then you have to consciously kind of peel it off of you. It's like a continuous thing that I need to mindfully kind of do. But then now that I feel like I've released this album, somehow I feel like I have this armor of like a little bit more like confidence of like, okay, this is where I'm at and this is what I'm doing.
Yeah. No, I love that. What's something about this path that you've chosen? And I'm going to let you decide what path you want to talk about, that you wish you knew when you started.
Could you?
What's something about this? What's something about this path that you've chosen? So we'll talk about it in terms of your music that you wish you knew before you started. Like, I wish I knew this. I wish I knew it was going to be like this. Then that would have changed the way I did things, for example.
Um, I think everything is meant to be. I think everything is meant to be. I think um, it's a process. Like I wouldn't expect like 20-something-year-old me to have the emotional maturity that I do now. Like I don't know. I think everything is a lesson, and everything is a chance for me to grow. And hardships and struggles are the reason why I can be stronger, and the reason why I can see, certain people as people, like my people that support me and, are there for me. And those who are differentiate between those who are there for me and those who are not. So I think, I think it's meant to be.
Something new that's developed for you in the last 5 years is that you are now a certified gentle sleep coach.
Yes.
So firstly, can you explain what that is and how that's different from perhaps other forms of sleep coaching?
Okay. It's a major pivot, but ever since becoming a mother, I have experienced firsthand how much sleep impacts not just the health of my child, but also my ability to function in the day and do the things that I love. And so I got really inspired by my own experiences as a mother with all those sleepless nights, and decided that, I would help other young families and parents and young toddlers and babies who are going through sleep struggles. And so for me, I'm like the modern day slasher mom that is like a mother and also a singer-songwriter and also an entrepreneur, if you will, to set up my own kind of practice to be a sleep consultant for young families.
What is gentle sleep coach specifically?
Gentle sleep coach specifically is more of a holistic approach to sleep train your child, because traditionally it's very much about letting the baby cry,
right? Just letting them cry it out, and they'll figure it out.
Yeah,
right.
They'll figure it out, or do the timed checks where you go in every however many minutes,
which is very stressful.
It is very stressful
on all parties.
Yes,
right?
Which is very,
Speaking
very
from experience as well. Right?
Yeah, and what I've learned is that it kind of comes back. Like it doesn't, with every kind of developmental milestone, every kind of there's the 4-month regression, and then there's the 8-month and the 12-month, and then the language explosion at 18 months. And as I said, I'm a nerd. And I was a psych major. So like, this is a really, this is really something of interest to me as well as music. And then I was like, I can figure this out. This is, I got to figure this out. So during COVID times when you can't really perform and you can't really do much, I went to get a certification. And then within 2 weeks, with no tears, I helped my older daughter, Naomi, sleep through the night. And
amazing.
And then I got really inspired by that. So I started this practice that way. And so it seems like a big kind of detour or a split of like what I do with my time. But then to me, it's all the same, because everything is inspired by my girls. Like my music is inspired by my girls. And this practice is inspired by my girls as well.
So when you say gentle sleep coach, this is your term?
No. So gentle sleep coach is a term that is her name is Kim West, and she is the founder of the International Association of Child Sleep Consultants around the world, internationally. So she is the #1 lady. And I was trained directly through her. And her program is Gentle Sleep Coach program.
Understand. And it's just going a different route from the traditional methods that many moms know.
Yeah.
Let the baby cry it out. So it's a completely different approach.
Yeah.
To it.
So it's a completely different kind of more gradual approach.
Right.
that is also evidence-based and scientifically proven.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Was there any hesitation in going into this field for you? Or was the conviction to do it just very, very strong?
I think it was also like a pull towards doing it because I felt I just felt so reassured by just the fact that I was able to help friends to start with and then more people. And I felt this kind of rush of adrenaline. The same way when I finished writing a song, this rush of adrenaline and this sense of accomplishment of being able to do that for people. And I remember there was this one case that I took on where the toddler was on a floor bed and she was weaning off of breastfeeding, and the parents just couldn't go on a date for like 2 years. And after a week and a half of consulting with them, their daughter was able to sleep through the night, and they went on a date for the first time in 2 years.
Oh, I see.
And
amazing.
I was like, yeah.
So it's not just, like you mentioned, it's not just the health and the well-being, but it's also the family unit.
The family unit.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you ever think that you would get into sleep coaching, that this would be another calling for you?
No.
So it was circumstantial. So that moment of when that idea popped into your head, was it to actually get certified? Was this really mainly that you were inspired by your own experience, or did you think this is now my calling? Or did you ever think that at all? That idea of this could be your other calling as well as music?
I actually, to start, didn't know for sure. But one thing led to another. And then I was invited to do talks and at like HKU and collaborate with brands to do workshops. And then I joined a kind of a medical group, like a clinic, and as their sleep person. And so to me, it kind of just like, oh, the universe is telling me something, and that something is that you don't have to fixate on you being one thing. Like your self-identity can be something completely new. And it almost, in a way, frees me from feeling like I have to achieve A, B, C, or D as a musician almost. And then because I was stripped of this self-identity being a musician, I was able to be more creative.
Oh, so being able to express yourself in these arenas where you were able to be more creative in your music, you mean?
Yeah, like I have found confidence in myself and my worth and my, in my ability to contribute to the world and make the world a better place in a different area. And then suddenly I went from, oh, I can't write, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
To what's the big deal?
Right.
So and then therefore step by step I was able to, do all the things that I've done with a little bit more there's a little bit less hesitation and a little bit more confidence. So yeah.
I think that's amazing. I think so often we do, traditionally speaking, I think times are changing now, but there is this idea that if you were a lawyer, you are a lawyer forever, right? If you are in finance, you're in finance. But I do think that nowadays it's more and more so, but there's a lot of people that actually don't feel that they can. Right? These are people that I work with a lot.
Yeah.
But this is my identity. You talked about that. This is who I am. So it must look like this. And we get attached to how things should look, how the way forward should be.
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing is that once you strip that away, and what's interesting is that it feels like once you did that, you just made that one decision, not really knowing where it would take you.
Yeah.
But then things started to fall into place, start to align up. And all of a sudden you're getting talks at universities, and you're getting working with clinics. And it's almost like how you described phases of the moon as well, right?
Yeah.
How just once you made that decision, it's not like you planned it to be 5 years. It's once you made that decision, and it was the universe kind of co-created this whole experience and path for you.
Yeah.
Would you say that's kind of similar in terms of your experience of that?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think kind of they somehow oddly in my head goes hand in hand in the sense that like because I have my sleep back, I
Yes.
can create and I can be creative and doing what I love.
Yeah.
And the two things can be separate in a way. And I guess I never really shared this like kind of so openly, but I think that there was one thing that was in my head that really held me back musically. And it was another seed in my like label life where like we were talking about extending my artist contract. And then I went into the boss's room and then with me and Kendi and then sat us down and we were trying to negotiate the next contract or whatever. First thing he said to me, so we're still losing X amount of money. But we're, you know, happy to continue to work with you. We can give you this, and, you know, for this number of years. And so, like, at that moment, I felt less than human. I felt like,
You're a commodity.
well, and that I am a stock not worth investing in or like a decreasing in value stock or just
That's just not a human
like
conversation.
a deficit.
Yes.
Like I'm just a deficit.
Right.
Like
You're just numbers.
yeah,
now.
like I'm negative numbers.
Right. You're not even numbers, you're negative numbers.
Yeah. And then
Right.
I felt like, and then there was a part of me that was like, I think that the parts that I carried with me was that it's not worth, like if I am a deficit, then I shouldn't be doing music. And I carried that. So I think that to be able to split was so helpful for me also because of that. But I think it's also like kind of my own process. Like I don't think that it is that in itself is the solution. I just think that that idea needed a way out of my system.
Is it out of your system
And
now?
my way out of the system was, what came of me now. And I think that, yeah, I'm proud of myself to still, put one foot in front of the other and just continue my journey, whatever.
Absolutely. I think these moments where you're talking about planting a seed
Yeah.
can actually really define our path forward.
For sure.
So much. And it
sure.
takes a lot of energy to actually, and self-awareness to know that and then
Yeah.
decide to not be defined by that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's an amazing work that you've done in these five. I think that's why when you said the word evolve,
Yeah.
it's so fitting based on what you have been sharing.
Yeah.
Do you feel that these different versions of you now are different versions? So for example, the Robynn that we see on stage, the Robynn your family sees, or who coaches parents. Do you feel like it's a different version of you, or do you feel different between these different roles?
A little bit, a little bit. I think it's healthy. It's healthy to have different sides of you come out when you're doing different things.
So what's the sleep coach Robynn like?
It's a very logical, very nerdy, and very.
You're nerdy in all regards. No, right?
It's very true. Even more nerdy.
Really?
Yeah, like very systematic, very
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
but also very empathetic. Like I think, and it's very much about talking about the other person versus as an artist, you often talk about yourself.
It's true. That's right.
So, it's very much let's focus on you. How can I help you? And what is your story? And me taking it all in and then giving you kind of my feedback. And so it's good. I think it's good for the soul to be able to, not be the artist all the time. Yeah.
I think what I'm thinking as you're saying that is this different expressions of ourselves.
Yeah.
And that is so, I think we have been taught to be a certain way all the time.
Yeah.
And so especially in a place like Hong Kong where constantly working as one thing, this is who I am, that becomes my identity, and I don't have time for anything else, then that we can become very pigeonholed into a certain mindset of who we are.
Yeah.
But actually, if we allow ourselves and give ourselves that permission to express ourselves in different ways, doesn't mean you have to start another business, right? But it could be picking up a hobby or following your passion or just expressing yourself in ways outside of what you're normally doing. It gives you freedom. It gives you a sense of energy is what I'm kind of hearing you. Would you say that that's true? It gives you renewed energy.
Yeah, I definitely feel renewed. It's a good feeling.
How do you manage your time? We sort of had this conversation before our interview started rolling here, but I'm curious, is this a strategic process of this time is when I'm mom, this time is when I'm coaching this time? What is do you have a strategy? What do you do? You have so many different roles, right?
Well, I mean, to be fair, I think the music thing is something that I took 5 years to do a whole album. So I actually took my time. And then with sleep coaching, everything is, except for, my clinic work, I also have my private practice. Everything is online and after my kids sleep.
Was that intentional?
It's intentional.
Smart.
Yeah, it's intentional. So like my coaching calls are, after my kids sleep. And so I still get to put them to bed and I still get to, volunteer at the school. No matter what, I think family comes first for me. So I just kind of take it slow. And then if you have the odd day where, somebody's like, hey, we're going to do a writing camp. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go. And then I'll just, arrange it so that, somebody will be taking care of the kids. And then I'll just go do that. And I'm really grateful for, my husband, who's like super supportive and a really good dad also, to make all of this possible. There was one week end of last year where I just flew to Shanghai for a songwriting camp for a whole week. So it was like 5 days writing songs every single day.
With people in Shanghai?
With Warner Chappell, my publisher. So they had arranged this songwriting camp and then paired us up.
It's really called songwriting camp.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. With like pitch decks and everything, like of like what different artists are looking for, who the other songwriters are, what their body of work is, etc. So it's like a super fun experience, and I was like not doing mom things for that whole week. so yeah, I guess I just it's there's not a set plan, but it's just like day by day, see what happens.
What I love about that is that I feel like you've defined your life and you've created a way of living that is defined by your values, that actually is worked around your values, which is your time, your energy, and your family.
Yeah.
And everything else aligns itself according to that value system.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful. Do you think it's harder for people to find their own voice and follow their passion in today's age? Or do you think there are actually a lot more opportunities than before? And yes, I'm also hinting at AI and hinting at, the increasingly noisy environment. We were talking earlier about how it's very different even to market your own work in today's culture. Right?
Yeah.
So do you think it's becoming harder and harder for somebody to find their voice and follow their passion?
I would almost say that, instead of find your passion, just find your pull. Like,
tell me more.
Find your pull. Like, I think it's such a big thing to be like, find your passion. Like, I think everything that has worked for me is not that like I defined a passion from day one and, knew exactly how it's going to pan out from day one. It never works that way. So find your pull. So like whatever that you feel called upon to do, just try it out and see. And then the next step will kind of reveal itself, and then the next step and the next. And I think that it's less heavy, It's less heavy. I think it's sometimes people struggle because they don't feel like they know exactly what they're going to do, what their grandiose plan is. But if I'm honest, like looking back, like everything that has worked out for me that I've been on, like all these amazing platforms and amazing shows that I've done, I didn't know they were going to happen. But I think the fear now is that, with social media and all of that, you see the success of other people and you feel a lot of FOMO. You feel a lot of just like inadequacies because of just the successes of other people that people plaster all over social media.
And so that
And
makes
rightfully
people feel
so,
like,
because you're proud of it.
makes you feel like I couldn't do that. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I have seen really talented musician friends who have crumbled because of it and haven't done anything because they're so scared of not being good enough. And I feel like I for one feel like I'm never good enough, but I still do it because I feel the pull. Yeah.
And how is that pull, if you were to describe it, if someone is listening right now and they're nodding their heads, I want to find my pull. What is that? Is it a joy or is it curiosity? How would you describe it? Or is it anything that piques your attention? What should people be looking for?
I think it's just something that doesn't need to be too defined. It's just something from your heart that you feel like, oh, that could be interesting. Okay, what's the first little step that I can do? What is the first little thing that I can change? Or, oh, let's try to, it could literally be as little as one text message or one, reaching out to be like, hey, I've been thinking of doing this. What do you think? Let's try it together. And it doesn't have to be, completely solitary. It could be something that could be done with other people. And there's joy in being able to connect and find other people to do something together and find like-minded individuals. And I think that, it just starts smaller and thinks smaller, and it will eventually grow and grow. Because there's a lot of pressure if you're kind of at the beginning of it and then you don't really know what you're supposed to do. And I want to be, I don't know, I want to be like Taylor Swift. But then what are the steps, or what are the things that you can do right now?
And I want to do it exactly like how she did it, right? I mean, it's not going to be possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love this idea of this pull, like a pull, because it pulls you towards something, but also pulls you out of your own thoughts.
Yeah.
Which I think is really a lovely way to understand that as well. Because even when you described as so many artists, that creative people who have held themselves back because of that voice in their head, oh, I'm not as successful, so we get stuck. So in some ways, we need to pull ourselves out.
It takes courage.
It takes courage and takes that energy to pull ourselves out. But it just takes a decision to want to do that and look for it, right?
Yeah.
You say, if you make that decision, you say, I'm going to look for anything that piques my curiosity, even if it doesn't make sense. But like you said, one text message could lead to something else,
Yeah.
right, in the line itself. All right. So I'm going to have a couple more questions here to close up this wonderful conversation. If you talked about collaboration earlier, and so this thought came into my head. If you could collaborate with any artist, living or no longer with us, who would it be and why?
Oh gosh. That is a very tough one. But I think that I think that for me, a collaboration process is like meeting a friend. And I, off the top of my head, just because we have been collaborating a little bit, starting to recently, would be Carrie. Yeah. Carrie Ng.
Yeah. I love her.
She is so kind, and she is, actually, we had a phone conversation right before our show, right before my show, and she had prayed for me. We prayed together over the phone, and she is, she just took the time to do that, and I just want to work with somebody that wants to work with me, and she reached out and said that, let's write a song together. So I'm really looking forward to what we come up with.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
She's a wonderful person, just like you.
Oh.
All right. What's coming up for you in the future that you're excited about, other than writing with Carrie, which I know is going to happen?
Yeah. I am looking forward to just, seeing what the next steps are. I really want to take my album to go to different places and play my songs, and looking forward to writing more songs and more music for other artists. I have a song that's coming up that I wrote with Young Hyson, who's like a new rapper in Hong Kong, and I'm really
You
looking
have a
for
rap song coming up. I love that.
Well,
Can't wait to hear that.
I mean, it's like I didn't write the rap part.
Okay.
He did.
Are you rapping on it?
No.
Oh
No, I'm just
why not?
participating as a writer. Participating as a writer. But like I'm really looking forward to like the release of that and the release of some other songs that I work with. I wrote a song for Yan Ting.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
So
used
like
to work with him too.
yeah, so I just really enjoy writing for other people, and so I really want to do more of that. And so really looking forward to touring and also writing more songs.
So what is the best way for people to continue following you on your journey?
My Instagram is just Robynn Yip, that people can follow. And if there are any tired parents out there, my IG handle and website is The Sleep Easy Club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that. The Sleep Easy Club.
The Sleep Easy Club.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll link it into the show notes below here too.
Thank you.
All right. Closing questions for you. If you could be the inner voice of wisdom for the person you were 5 years ago, what's one thing you would want her to know?
Find your pull.
Love that. What do you hope people will remember most about your work, your story, or your legacy?
That I do everything with love and that I do everything with my heart open to share my true self.
Robynn, it's truly been a pleasure. Thank you so much for being
you so
here
much.
and sharing your stories with us. It's been really, truly a joy to catch up with you and celebrate your music and also all the new chapters in your life that you have embraced. I know that you will inspire many people who are listening to this episode here today. So I also wish you all the very best in your phases of the moon with sleep coaching and everything that's all the steps ahead of you.
Thank you, Krystal. You inspire me too.